Full disclosure, this review is based on an early copy of the game that Nintendo provided to me for review purposes. Super Mario Odyssey was easily one of the most exciting games to see when the Nintendo Switch was first announced, and it was one of my favorite games that I got to play at E3 this year. It absolutely meets all expectations, but it doesn't really go beyond them. Super Mario Odyssey is a single-player Mario game right in the line of previous titles such as Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario 64. In fact, it goes out of its way to be really similar to Super Mario 64, complete with identical movesets and level structure. Each level is an open stage, filled with several objectives and locations which award you with power moons, which are required for progression. For once, it's not stars, but they're fundamentally the same. Each level has a few main moon objectives, which opens up more of the stage and usually leads to a boss fight at the end of sorts. In addition to these few main moons, there are tons of additional moons to obtain in every level, and I mean tons. You can get at least over 500 moons in this game. They are everywhere. Some levels may only have a few, while others can have upwards of 70 in them alone. It's very easy to spend a lot of time before moving on because there are so many moons that you know you can go collect. While it's great that there's so many to get, making each stage have a lot of replayability, barely any of the moons feel rewarding. A lot of them are just kind of out there, like, boop, there's another moon. Very few require actual effort or platforming to obtain. Several are even telegraphed quite plainly with large glowy spots. And if for some reason you have a hard time finding all of them, there are 2 in-game hint providers per level. Now, this isn't to say that some of these moons don't require effort. A few of them are quite hidden behind secret warp paintings or in timed races where you don't have your hat, or have puzzles with your only clue being a photo you found in a completely different level altogether. These are few and far between in comparison to the ones that are as simple as talk to someone. Including literal hundreds of these collectibles is one way to keep playing the game, yeah, but I certainly would have preferred less but more fulfilling objectives. Thankfully, grabbing a moon doesn't end the stage like previous games, making it easy to get one and continue searching around for more without pause. The levels themselves are good. They're fine. The only real standout one to me was New Donk City, which is that urban-themed one they've been showing off in every trailer ever. But the levels are not the stars of themselves, but rather the enemies within are. Not because there's all kinds of new and interesting enemies to fight in the Mario universe, but rather because of one of the new abilities that comes from Mario's fancy new hat friend. You can throw your hat to defeat enemies, hit coin blocks, use it as a platform, and the best part, use it to take over objects and enemies. This provides the greatest and most charming gameplay opportunities. Some of these dudes are adorable and really fun to play. My favorite is Easily Stretchy Legs Guy and Flingy Bird. Even better, some of these enemies are used for boss fights, offering a good amount of variety. I wish the levels offered the same kind of variety. They feel pretty basic for a Mario game. I don't feel like they had cool platforming challenges inherently within or small sections that required a lot of skill. They also don't have that same kind of sandbox, screw around fun in it that something like Mario 64 had, which is disappointing since they're clearly trying so hard to invoke that game in particular. Speaking of, there are only 14 real levels available, and a couple of those are super tiny. You'll get through the main game much quicker than you'd think. However, there are tons of unlockables. After beating the game, including one of the coolest final levels in Mario history, you can get up to 3 additional levels by collecting more moons. They're not full levels like the others. They have a few additional power moons each, but otherwise act as refights for bosses, but with new challenges for each. Beating the game also makes several new moons available in each stage, once again ranging from out in the open to finally somewhat tough sections. The cool unlockables are all the different costumes you can get for Mario. I seriously love these. There are so many different hats and outfits you can wear, and you can mix them up as much as you want. Some of them throw back to Mario's other games. Some to different Nintendo games altogether. Some are just plain silly and fun. They don't affect Mario's capabilities in any way and are purely aesthetic, but some of the aesthetics are just awesome. There's even a few moons that you can only get while wearing specific costumes. You will continue to unlock new costume pieces as you get the hundreds of moons. This finally gives something for coins to do, as you need them to buy these costumes, and special purple coins per level can get you a few more costumes and collectibles. Even though getting the moons themselves isn't rewarding all the time, getting these new costumes frequently is. Super Mario Odyssey is a good Mario game. It's a really good Mario game. But it didn't blow me out of the water at any point in time. I don't like it more than, say, Mario Galaxy 2. I didn't see the same kind of creative level design and paths that I know they're capable of. Super Mario Odyssey earns an 8 out of 10. This is absolutely worthwhile for any Switch owner, and you should definitely pick it up. You won't be as amazed as you think, but you'll certainly have a smile on your face the whole way through.